The pleasure to be here today. I have been in London for the last 20 years, and I never cease to be amazed on the passion, the energy, the commitment, the philotimo that the Greeks have in this country. And this is not only for events like the ones that we have today, but frankly for at work, at a university, at every other function that I have been attending. I have been impressed by the culture and what our generation is bringing, both the younger and the more mature one, from that perspective. So with that, today I was thinking of, I'm here in my capacity not as a private equity investor, although I can talk to you for ages about this. I've been doing this for 20 years, but more about another initiative that the Greeks of the diaspora have taken, and it started about a year and a half ago, called the Hellenic Initiative. And the Hellenic Initiative is effectively a global non-profit secular institution which, as was mentioned earlier, the vision is to mobilize the Greek diaspora and every Hellenic community across the world to help invest in the future of Greece. And we're doing this through 3 programs, and I'll walk you through briefly now. One is a crisis relief program, second one is entrepreneurship, and the third one is through economic development. So this is not just a theoretical, nice marketing concept that was conceived a couple of years ago, although it was conceived a couple of years ago, and I'll tell you how in a second. But it's actually a very practical one on how can we get Greece back in the right footing. It's run by a global board of directors, which has representation from the US, from Greece, from the UK. Actually, so far, I'm the only member of the board who is from the UK, but we are recruiting people, and we try to hopefully get some more people, because there's a lot of Greek community in this country, from France and from Australia. And all of us have been, in some shape or form, successful business leaders, successful, mature business leaders in what we've been doing, and trying to give side of all the day activities that we have in our work and all the responsibilities we have, and try to help our home country. We have a very active board. This is not a board that is, done in academic ways. Some of the people you will recognize. We have been very fortunate to have President Bill Clinton as our patron of the initiative. President Bill Clinton was one of the people that back in 2012 in Athens decided to sponsor the initiative that we're trying to do. And he's a very big fan and very big supporter of what we're doing, which gives us a lot of courage and a lot of strength. Andrew Liveris is our chairman. Andrew is the CEO and chairman of Dow Chemicals, a multi-billion business in the US, a very proud Philhellene, and one who has been an amazing force in getting this initiative off the ground. I won't go through each one of the members because you'll have a long time, but you can recognize a lot of the people that have been participating and driving this. We have a more romantic setting now, so that you can see it even more. But you can recognize some of the names, as I said, some of them in Greece, who have been very successful people in running their own businesses in Greece. Some of them, as I mentioned, a lot of them in the US, and a lot of people in the US, because primarily this initiative started from the Greek American community and now is expanding significantly into Europe with a lot of the initiatives that we're doing, as said, in the UK, and I'll tell you more about it. What are we doing? What we're doing is we're trying to launch, and we will launch, 3 areas which we think are going to be critical for the recovery, the renewal, and long-term growth of our country. This is not a short-term initiative. This is something that even if Greece goes off the difficult path that is going at the moment, which it seems that it's starting to do, fingers crossed, then that even that will help that initiative to flourish. And these 3 areas are: we're supporting crisis relief efforts through a small group of very highly effective non-profit partners. We're working in Greece, for example, with the Niarchos Foundation, who have been also very instrumental in supporting and helping the philanthropy in the country. We are also promoting entrepreneurship as a strategy for job creation, and I'll tell you about the awards that we have already introduced, as well as we're trying to catalyze effectively economic development by mainly creating jobs. Because these are very fancy words, but at the end of the day, what counts is growth and job creation for the Greek population. Why are we doing it? Well, it's partly because of the reason we're all here today, and partly because also initiatives like Reload Greece have started very successfully, and many more, frankly. I've been amazed on how many Philhellenes and Greeks of the diaspora are setting up initiatives to help our home country. But why are we doing it? Well, we're doing it for a variety of reasons. There's no doubt that our country has lost more than 30% of its GDP in the last 5-6 years. You've had more than 90,000 small businesses closing down, not suffering, not going down, just closing down, which is unbelievable as a number of small companies that have disappeared. You have unemployment at the levels that you see at 27, 28%, even more importantly, and you will know it very closely as well, more than 65% among the youth population. And you have a lot of people trying or succeeding in leaving the country to become more successful people abroad. That's good for the ones who succeed, that's bad for the country, because a lot of good brains are leaving to try to find opportunities outside of Greece. We think this is a great opportunity for change. We think it's a great opportunity to change our country, to change the public sector, which we all know has been totally bloated, to find some more strategic vision in giving back into the country, and to put some more solid foundations in the Greek economy. We also think that this is a catalyst. As a catalyst, it can work very well to open change. And we see this already. I'm not going to talk about politics in the country. I have no idea of whether things are going well or not on the political front. There are other people who are more qualified to comment on this. But I can say that this opportunity and this crisis can be a catalyst. And from a diaspora perspective, the Greeks in this country, in the US, in Australia, which we launched a very big event last week for the Hellenic Initiative as well, are very able to mobilize the community. On the crisis relief, as I mentioned, so far we have invested actually more than $1.5 million into strong non-profit institutions. A lot of those you will be able to recognize, or you won't see: SOS Villages, Apostoli, Praxis, Together for Children, Doctors of the World. A lot more are approaching us, as you would expect, given the need in the country, to help on the philanthropic front, how to support the Greek community on the crisis. And we've had, in addition to all these that we have been supporting, we've had visits, as you see, to dental and medical clinics. We have been helping children with food aid, and many more other initiatives, which frankly we're not alone in helping the country, but certainly we have been one of the driving force, and increasingly so, by giving real funds in supporting the charities in the country. In terms of entrepreneurship, what we're aiming to do is to invest in the new generation of leaders. And we're doing this through 3 different ways. One is we've set up the Hellenic Entrepreneurship Award. It's been supported by a couple of groups. It has already given more than, actually, these numbers are outdated, more than $1 million out on businesses. He has created more than 30 jobs, and he tries to award early stage entrepreneurs who are trying to look more for funding. We also launched our Venture Garden, which is effectively like a seminar series covering a lot of entrepreneurship fundamentals. We've done it in association with basically 2 American colleges in Greece, plus Alba, as you know, the university. And it's a program that it's open to the community, again, trying to foster venture activities. And lastly, through a group of all the businesses that we are involved, particularly the people as a member of the board of the Hellenic Initiative, we're trying to give people the opportunity to export through their Greek brands. We've had a lot of success in the food sector so far, trying to launch food products outside of Greece, and we're doing more and more this year. Lastly, what we're trying to do is through economic development. And through economic development, we're trying to invest and create, as I mentioned, job growth. We're doing this through 2 vehicles at the moment. We're doing it through a fellowship which again, we're focusing on developing human capital. There are a lot of sectors in the country, and some of you working in those sectors here today, like tourism, like energy, like technology, like food, as I mentioned, which actually are helping to promote growing sectors. And we have been very selective in trying to find some early or mid-career professionals and placing them into companies. So we do job placement, like summer programs or 12-month programs. It started by working in US companies, where a lot of our board members are currently naturally more influential. But I'm trying, and a lot of my colleagues are trying to expand this also in London and outside the US, mainly in Europe, to help people get internships, either 6 or 12 months internships to actually work in real life. And that's something that has already been launched. And finally, probably our biggest sort of, in terms of hopefully impact initiative that we'll have from a financial certainly perspective, is we have launched what we call the Hellenic Investment Fund. This is a $100 million fund that we have launched. We're focusing on small and mid enterprises, Greek growth companies, who are trying to look for money to expand abroad, as well as to expand in Greece. And either for one reason or another, either because the Greek banks are not lending, either because there's very little venture capital activity in our home country, and or for other macro-related issues, they have not been able to find the funding. We're launching this initiative. We already launched we have already raised more than $30 million for this fund. Part of it has been given by ourselves, by the members of the board, about half of it already, $50 million, as an anchor investment, as a seed investment. And we're already raising, and this is going to be led by our partners in Greece called Vector Partners, who are going to be running this fund. And we're very optimistic that this is an initiative that if we manage to raise $100 million, and as I said, we're in a very nice path to it, it's going to be a substantial amount of money to support small Greek businesses and small Greek entrepreneurs. Finally, apart from the 3 big initiatives that we're doing, we're naturally trying to build a community around it. There's a lot of initiatives that are out there. Today's initiative is a good example of this. But we're trying to do events. In October last year, we launched our inaugural banquet in New York, which was massively oversubscribed. It brought more than 600 guests together and raised close to $2 million for crisis relief. So one dinner alone that we launched in New York City raised close to $2 million. We were astonished with the success. We have actually already, it says here, planned. Last week, there was a dinner that was planned for the launch of our initiative in Sydney, in Australia. And as I mentioned to some of you, we're planning to organize a very big banquet as well, event in London towards the end of this year. And certainly we will invite all of you to it, because we need to spell the gospel. We'll need to spread out the initiative's success outside also of a certain amount of people. We're also having a very big campaign. I urge you, if you ever are able to remember this, to go to One Greece, which is a video that we have put together. And if you go and Google it, it has had an amazing response, and it's a very nice campaign that we've put together about all that people can do to help our home country. So with that, I'm finishing by saying, what's next? I think for us, we have a lot of wood to chop, as the Brits will say. So we have a lot of things to do. We have to actively manage our portfolio of initiatives. We're launching, as you see, a lot of new entrepreneurship and economic development programs. We will do a lot in terms of our communication. We hope to be even more successful in fundraising online, not just through our events and not just through the word of mouth. And certainly, we're hoping to find more people to support, even potentially becoming as members of the board of directors of the group, because these are the types of initiatives that, if they're led by people who are really committed and who actually really are doing it because they want to do it, because they love the country and they cannot afford to see it in the state that it has become in the last 5-6 years, this is the only chance that we can actually make an impact. A lot of people I see, they say, but do you think $15 million is going to make an impact? $20 million is going to make an impact? An internship of 1 or 2 guys in XYZ company is going to make an impact? Yes, we have to start somewhere. So, this is something that, we've started a couple of years ago. It's expanding very rapidly across the world. We're extremely proud. We're extremely passionate about this. It's a Greek characteristic. We are passionate as people, and if we channel our passion the right way, that's how it will make a difference. I would like to applaud the initiative that Reload is doing. I think it's very complementary, to our efforts. It's focusing on different things and a lot of things for the young generation and the young people, but it's exactly the type of initiatives that we should be doing as a nation, as Greeks. We've been fortunate to be most of us, to be successful in our lives outside, and this is a time to give back. And you give back not just financially, but you give back by supporting our country. That's what I had to say. Thank you very much for your attention, and have a great day.